Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing on this? It's not really a cold Wednesday around here. It's actually like Illinois t-shirt weather. I was outside with not much in the way of actual winter clothes. Like I couldn't take the bibs off because the overalls off because well, I was wearing sweatpants underneath them, but I was running around with just a t-shirt on today. It was kind of warm and very, very muddy. It was very muddy. So that was annoying. Um, that being said, welcome to CNN, the greatest source of disinformation, biased reporting, and flat out lies. You cannot trust a thing that comes out of my mouth. You should never actually get any honest news from this source. I don't know why you're here, but I appreciate that you are, okay? That being said, there's going to be a lot of catch up this week. Not really many like huge topics, nothing like dramatic to comment on. But there are a lot of trailers and announcements for stuff like that. We will be doing a little bit of the ultimate waifu tier list. I will let you guys imagine what it is that we're going over until the end of the night. It definitely is not a completely controversial anime that I have done multiple videos on. It's definitely not that. Okay, just it absolutely is not that. And then of course there's a bunch of like random things that went on the internet. Pipe bomb threats, some Studio Eclipse news, the Houston Texans. So yeah, there's some interesting things to go over. So with that being said, let us start by I wanted to do that and then that. I should have had this up, but I was busy reading manga because I'm a tool. And let's start here. I'm on the wrong page, so let's bring this up. So this is the first manga to come across our feed tonight. So this was a weird one that I thought, you know what, why not bring up? So new daddy policeman mystery Ikukyu Deka by Nakano started on Kadokomi Web, based on the novel by Kei Nitadori. A mystery about a male police detective who is on parental leave to take care of his infant son while his wife is focusing on her career again. But focusing on her career, yeah. But somehow keeps getting dragged into mysterious cases, baby intel. So it's basically just, it looks like it's just this dude is supposed to be an off-duty cop, but he is constantly lugging his newborn son around to every case that he gets dragged into. Seems fun, but I see while his wife is focusing on her career again, and all I think of is, oh wow, that's going to be some NTR stuff. Really though, I had to laugh at the toy gun in the background. Like that right there just was something funny to me that I figured I'd comment on. But that is probably the least interesting thing that we've got going on tonight. So let's go on to the next one. And this one's even weirder. So, TV anime adaptation for erotica comedy manga Ingoku Danchi, Pervert's Apartment Complex by doujin artist Sakusei Kenkyojo, and Yui Joyama. So, an apartment complex which houses women of weird sexual preferences who go on lewd rampages when a mysterious entity gives them skimpy outfits. Like the premise on this is just too fucking funny not to pay attention to. It just like ran like some god decides, you know what? We're just going to give these women crazy outfits and let them go on really wild rampages throughout their apartment complex. I'm just saying, I know that there are some freaks in the audience, and I know that some of you would absolutely love to check this out. So I'm bringing it up for your sake. I am a man of the people. I am a man of the people. They call me the people's man. And trust me, we got a lot more announcements to get through. So that there's that. There was all so that's pretty much the not much manga stuff to talk or light novel stuff to talk about. But there is some interesting anime stuff that's going to be coming out here. So here we go. Mobile Police Patlabor. New anime project Patlabor Easy confirmed to be an OVA series of 8 episodes. Directed by Yuta Izubuchi at Studio. Fuck. It's JC Staff. The new mecha series expected to release in 2016. So, Patlabor is something that I hear quite a bit about. So it's interesting to see that it's getting new anime. It's just kind of upsetting that it's JC Staff. Also, howdy to Jeremy Turner. What is this wonderful display of culture? Well, the one previously that you were talking about is how do I explain this? The premise is that it's called Pervert's Apartment Complex. And the premise is that a bunch of perverted women live there who just randomly get like told by God, hey, here's some really lewd outfit, go on a fucking rampage. That's what that was. So it was interesting to see that this would get announced, and then, of course, I didn't notice that there was a JC Staff logo right there. But whatever. Anyway, we want culture. Here's more culture. I might have talked a little bit about this one before, but it's here again. So, ecchi exorcist comedy, Ushiro no Shomen Kamui-san. Anime adaptation upcoming, judging from the new web domain. Ecchi comedy by Aoki and Kuroshiro. Shinko, about a girl who can see ghosts and works for a famous exorcist who has quite a particularly physical method for getting rid of the ghosts. So it's basically just a chick in the Chinese dress just punching out ghosts. I'm down with it. Can't say I'm particularly opposed. What's next? Let's do this one next. Okay, so here's a more solid announcement when it comes to actual anime. So I generally trust Manga Mogura because they're pretty they play it pretty straight. I haven't had any problems with any of the announcements that they've made. So Supernatural Adventure Siren TV anime adaptation announced. Air date 2026. By Statelight Studio. And the director is Katsumi Ono. Popular adventure manga by Toshiaki Iwashiro in 16 volumes. Save me. Those are the words Sakurako Amiyama's. Those were Sakurako Amamiya's last words to her friend Ageha Yoshina before she mysteriously went missing. Now Ageha is on a quest to find her. He's convinced that the mythical Siren secret society has something to do with the recent rash of disappearances, and now he seems to be caught up as a player in their deadly game. So there's some interesting art here, but I can't say that I'm particularly like stoked about this because I mean the Exorcist thing has become the next big trend in anime and all that. So um, it remains to be seen whether some of these are actually going to hold up. I'll give it a try whenever it happens to come out, but I don't particularly think that this is going to be right up my alley at the moment. Apparently, there is another manga that is exactly like Beihei Neko, down to an elf that wants to bang a cat. Don't care. I don't know why you bring that up, Biggles, but I don't care. I appreciate you being around, but I don't care. If it's like Beihei Neko, fuck it. Okay. The next one's a little bit more interesting than that. We have Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dear Friend anime film is scheduled for fall of 2026 in Japan. So this will be if I'm not mistaken, this will be a direct continuation off of last season. So Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus. And I believe this will be the finale of this story. So this will be the whole finale of the series. That's cool. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to wait until the beginning of 2027 if I'm going to be watching this. So hurts a little bit, but you know what? It is what it is. I'll deal with it. I shall live. But I'm looking forward to this one in particular. It's not my favorite show. What are you talking about? I hate Beihei Neko. And from here on out, we have a bunch of trailers to go over. So we're going to spend a little time on that. I'm going to start here. And this is an anime that is coming out next season. So there was a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her TV anime new trailer. So January 6, 2026 by Studio Gecko. Fantasy rom-com about a minion of the demon lord falling in love with his enemy, a cute saint from the hero's party. So let's see what this is all about, shall we? So far, not particularly impressed with some of the animation and stuff. It looks very, like, art style looks pretty generic. Animation looks pretty generic. Setting looks pretty generic. So basically, dude's just gonna, be hitting on his arch enemy the whole time. It's kind of like Magical Girl and the Evil Lieutenant used to be arch enemies. I'm probably gonna check this one out next season. It looks like Hero Without a Class, but I don't expect to keep on it for very long. This seems like one of those things where I'll pick it up to see if it's even like worth my time, and I expect to drop this. Like, we've really just, in this trailer so far, we haven't gotten anything that isn't really centered around what we kind of already know is going to happen because of the title. Like, it hasn't really like done anything beyond that. So he's just going to go about pretending to be a human adventurer or something like that? Okay, then. Again, I'm not particularly impressed with any of the character designs or anything.
魔族の
統一を人間お待たせしました
Generic, long, like grayish blue hair girl with glasses. Honestly, I feel like we've seen like 3 of these girls in like the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons. I feel like they pop up everywhere.
すごくいいよかったらセシリアも一緒にどう
で僧侶とはどこまで進んでるの関係ない羨ましい
I'm almost considering just not even touching this one by watching the trailer and all that and just being like just avoiding it altogether. Because I'm being pretty selective about the anime that I take on, and I'm not doing any more than a set amount that I've chosen in a season. Now, if there are some that I decide to drop, I will rotate in other ones that people recommend and everything to see how it goes. But for now, I'm not doing any more than 25 anime a season. Like I don't need to watch any more than that.
可愛いですね
はい可愛いです勇者パーティーに
可愛い子がいたので
告白してみた
Is there going to be
させてみせるぞ
okay? It's not really going to give us anything. So yeah, not particularly hot mage from Stolen from S rank party or whatever. I don't even remember which anime, like they're also generic that they blend together. So I don't even remember which anime is particularly which anime does what. So this one, I don't know. This one feels like I will probably be done with it in the first couple of I read this one recently. Aggressively straight but very cute and silly. Is this gay? No, then I've lost interest. Wow, a lot of people just yeah, that does look very plastered on. It just does not look right that the way that is done. Huh. Anyway, I'm a little bit more excited about the next one that we have on here. So, this is another anime that is coming out next season that I will be checking out, and I do actually have some hope for. So, dark superhero action TV anime Scum of the Brave, new trailer. It airs on January 10th next year by Studio OLM, and dark hero action about a bounty hunter. About bounty hunter heroes legally killing powerful criminals. One loner, low-life hero accepts a schoolgirl as his apprentice. So this one I'm a little bit more interested in than the last one.
どうか我々の師匠となり魔王に囚われた仲間の救出をお導きください
I guess the character designs so far are all right, although like nothing particularly stands out. Like they all feel very stereotypical.
Huh?
我々はあなたこそ高い志と実力を備
Unusual eyes design, of
え
course.
た勇者だと確信しています我々一同明日より厳しくご指導いただく覚悟はです
Okay, a little bit of comedy here, you know, with them horsing around and whatnot. But so far, the premise is what has drawn me into this. So I'm hoping it's a little bit more focused on, you know, that bounty hunter side of things rather than whatever this is. We'll see.
それって教官と戦えばいい
私ら今アカデミーじゃ落第寸前なんだよ。
Hmm.
あの子たち可愛いじゃないですか。いいのかよ、こんなやつが師匠で。
Okay, are we gonna get anything that actually shows what's gonna happen in this series? Or are you just gonna sit here and introduce a bunch of characters that I don't really care about? Yeah.
そりゃ俺のビルだよ。
どうかご助力を師匠。
The music's kind of okay. Not my favorite, but it's definitely not the worst that I've heard.
絶対弟子なんか取らねえからな。俺の仕事は安くない。
Oh yeah. So from what I understand of the series, from the premise, is effectively these bounty hunters use like some sort of chemical concoction to juice themselves up in fights and all of that for dealing with superpowered criminals. Ah, okay. Hey, JM, how you doing? Good to see ya. Watched all of Makoto Shinkai's Disaster Trilogy over the weekend. I'm assuming you mean Your Name, Suzume, and Weathering with You, if I'm not mistaken. Those are all good movies. And I mean, to anyone who knows me, saying that I am a Makoto Shinkai stan is common knowledge.
2000万お前に払えるか。
I respect that. Your Name is really, really good. I really like that movie. If I had to say which ones I liked the most, it's a really close race with all of them for me. Just because they're really well done movies.
お前まだ若いんだから勇者なんかやめろクズが。だが俺はこんな時に見えも張れないようなクズ以下の人間になり。
Okay, it doesn't necessarily look terrible in terms of animation here. Like, that's not bad. Okay, maybe not. I'm kind of confused though. Like, why does it want to try and like be super modern and also like operate with like swords and everything at the same time and have a demon lord? And yes, they do refer to him as a demon lord. I heard the term Mao in there when they were discussing that character. That's usually what you get. That's usually how they refer to demon lords. So not bad. We'll see how it goes when this comes out, but mostly I'm interested in the premise for this one. Again, bounty hunters using drugs to fight superpowered criminals. It sounds interesting. All right. With that being said, though, there is another one, and I'm probably about to really butcher this name because it's French, and I don't speak French. So this one just came across my feed. It comes out on March 13th, 2026 by Arvo Animation, and this is La Toile de Paris en Feu. I probably did that terribly, and I don't care because fuck the French. Okay, fuck the French. This is a historical youth drama set in the early 1900s Paris about two Japanese girls pursuing their dreams, one as a painter and the other as a ballet dancer. I really like the animation style of this one, though, and it looks like it's done pretty well. Like this looks pretty decent in terms of animation and artwork so far.
に憧れる千鶴。私、
I feel though it's going to end up like Anne of Green Gables that came out earlier this year. Where like it starts off interesting, and then as you go through it more and more, it gets less and less interesting. Gets a bit lost in the sauce. Anyway,
後取りだし、バレエを踊るなんて無理よ。あなた、もしかしてなんでパリにいるの？私
One Piece Film Red. Is this a movie or a series?
私は絵の勉強を。
絵だけじゃ食っていけないだろ。
東洋人の私はバレリーナにはなれないんでしょ。
Because the animation looks really good. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a movie instead of a series.
自分がやりたいことをやるのが人生じゃないの？
And this does look very... Why do I feel like I've seen this art style before? I feel like I kind of want to say it was Anne of Green Gables. Or Anne Shirley, I should say. That did a very similar art style to this. But I'm not sure. Someone would have to correct me on that, or I would have to fact check that. But since this is the Crimson News Network, we don't do fact checks around here.
異国の空の下、困難を乗り越えて憧れを追いかけた少女たちの物語。私やりたいことがあるって素敵だと思うの。パリに咲くエトワール。
Yeah. I'm just stupid. It says movie right there. See, this is why you don't trust anything that happens on the Crimson News Network, because apparently I can't even read. So, there you go. Okay, this next one is going to be very interesting because this next one is a manga that was canceled, from what I understand. This is Black Torch. It's going to be very interesting to see what they have going on with this one. Because, again, from what I understand, Black Torch was a manga that was canceled a few years back. And now they are doing an anime adaptation of it for whatever reason. So, who knows why this is getting an anime adaptation, if that's correct.
誰だ俺を呼ぶのは勝手に叩き起こしやがって俺は誰にも力なんぞ貸さねえよお目覚めたか俺はジローお前名前は俺の名はラゴ
Juvenile Animal Whisperer and a Black Cat. Mononoke.
悠久の時を生きるもののけだもののけ呼び方はいろいろあるがとにかくそういう化け物がいるのさ
I mean, so far, kind of interesting premise. You have an immortal being trapped in a cat and this guy who can talk to the cat, so I guess there's that. But I'm not sure how the rest of this is going to play out. Okay, I actually kind of like that music. The animation on that shot looked pretty good.
誰かを助ける理由にくだるもくだらねえもねえだろ末前食わぬは男の恥って言うだろ
The dreaded black star of doom, Rago. It's a cat. Can't trust CNN. What else is new?
俺は嫌いなんだよ他人の力を当てにして群れて生きがってる奴らがな
私が嫌いな2つのものを教えてあげる
I'll let you in on my 2 pet peeves, okay?
教えてあげる。もののけと女だからって舐めてる男に
Ah, okay.
つまり私はあんたの存在を認めないってことよ。
桐原流残術は
Again, I kind of like the song for this one. Like, not gonna lie, that's the kind of stuff I would listen to.
武道ではなく純然たる戦闘技術。それをお前は今遊びと言ったか。万死に値する。何がどうなってんだ、しかし。なんだよ。やがましい。今奴を倒す。
Okay. Maybe a little bit excited about some of the stuff I'm seeing here. It's just a trailer, so they're obviously putting their best foot forward, as you would with a trailer, to try and get people interested again. But right now, as compared to other shows that are actively running, or other manga that are actively running, I don't see why this one would have gotten canceled if it actually did.
そうが先だろうが倒すったってお前あんなのどうしろっつんだよ心配すんな俺が手貸してやるてめえはただ思いっきり
Not bad. I don't hate it. So let's see. I hope they crank up the holy shit. Okay. them some cheeks. Is this the manga that got the axe? Sadly, yes. Okay, so it was canceled. Chain Paw Man. Wow, they stole a lot from Bleach. Hot redhead earns 3 points. Don't fuck it up. Okay, so from what it seems, it looks like it's a really short series. And it did end up getting axed by Shueisha. So who knows how this is going to turn out. But from the trailer, I'm actually kind of interested in what's going on. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to it. But the next thing on the list that we have here, is this. The return of Kaguya-sama Love is War. And this is the Stairway to Adulthood TV anime special trailer reveal. So apparently the air date is December 31st this year. And from what some people have been saying is, yeah, they are skipping so much of the story. The rest of the manga won't be adapted, and they're wrapping the story up in the quickest way possible. So this one is interesting to me because Aka Akasaka famously does not have very many good big wins in his roster at this point. Destroyed Oshinoko, completely just decided to, fuck around with like 2 or 3 manga at the same time, and none of them were particularly interesting. Love is War seems to be the only one that ended well in the manga. And now the anime adaptation is going to do it dirty by skipping large chunks of the manga. From what I've heard from people, the chapter count of what they're skipping could be anywhere from 70 to 100 chapters. That is an insane amount of a manga to skip when you're adapting it. Regardless, there was a trailer here before us, so we shall watch it. This looks like an interesting sort of situation. Doesn't it? To me, she kind of looks older in some of these shots.
懐かしいわね。どれも懐かしくて。
Look at that shot of Ishigami! That's a fucking great shot of Ishigami.
すべてがかけがえのない大事な思い出。そう、すべてが。
Masayuki Suzuki! Interesting. So, I guess they're adapting like the end of the story or something. What the fuck? What the fuck? What in the hell is this? Why? Is that Chica? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Chica. Yep, that was Chica. So the bait, like, it looks good. I'm interested to see what's going on, but the animation on that was actually really good. Susan and Bummer around the whole series, and it looks like they're skipping 70 chapters, and and the part they're doing is the time jump, which I have mixed feelings about. Interesting, huh? Okay then. Yeah, I'm not happy about them skipping 70 chapters. I'm not particularly excited about the idea of just taking a giant chunk of manga and not doing that. It doesn't make sense to me, especially when the series has been doing very, very well. It's basically an epilogue. Oh, shit. How's your day been? Exhausting and muddy. But at the very least, my day was okay because we were setting walls on a new house today, and it didn't involve me having to lift them all manually. We had a machine for that, so that's cool. We have one more trailer, and this one's going to be short. But this one got announced a little while ago, and I am just now getting around to covering it here on CNN. So, this is Sakamoto Days live action. See, just from that shot, I'm already more interested in the live action than in the anime adaptation.
その名は坂本太郎。そろそろダイエットしようかな。坂本は太った。
どうしても殺さなきゃダメですか。ただのデブじゃないですか。
元殺し屋の命がけの日常が幕を開ける。坂本デイズ。ここからは
So it kind of looks like they would be doing the entire first season of Sakamoto Day, or the entire first cour or whatever of Sakamoto Days, in live action. Interesting. So yeah, in terms of like the things in there that were actually like the most interesting, Black Torch kind of caught me off guard as being the most interesting of those trailers. Scum of the Brave, I'm still interested in the premise, although I have my worries about what it's going to become now. Love is War, I always love the series, but I'm really upset that they are skipping a huge chunk of the show. So who knows what we are going to get out of that. Either way, we're going to move along into the next big topic of the night. And it starts here. So someone decided to do a bit of art, and I'm not going to lie, the art looks good. Like I genuinely don't have a problem with the art style itself, but basically it's just, Frieren killing a bunch of KKK members, which, okay, whatever. You use KKK members as evil. I don't particularly care. I saw this when this whole thing first started up, and I saw the art. I was like, that's kind of cool. You did a really good job with that piece of art. Like, I like the way you've done this. And moved on with my life because I don't particularly fucking care. However, this post blew up quite a bit. So we'll backtrack a little bit. So an entire year of the demon's allegory is racist dog whistle and shit. And having evil species in fiction is bad, you incel chud. The right says okay and adopts Frieren as an icon. And actually, the racists were the demons all along. Demons are monarch creatures, by the way. So there's that. And this is kind of where things start to kick off. So I looked it up. There is actually nobody who said that the demons were racist allegory except for the right wingers. So Mr. Blue Sky So yeah, this guy basically just goes through ignoring everything that goes on with this one. So we can go back one more. I think we all remember this video. Less than a year ago, people were calling Frieren a racist dog whistle on here, and demons are literally just minorities. It becomes a very interesting conversation. Because in terms of the subject matter, I feel like a lot gets lost when people start talking about anything to do with Frieren, because everyone becomes super fucking reactionary. So let me put this in perspective. It's been years and years and years of changing groups within fiction because of the idea of biological determinism. Basically, you are pre-programmed to do the things you're going to do. You are either more or less prone to bad behavior just because of genetics. That is the idea of biological determinism. Obviously a flawed idea, a terribly wrong idea, because I don't think there is anyone who, when it comes to people and explaining people's behaviors, I should say, if you're talking about species, if you're talking about like just life as a whole, yeah, there's some level of biological determinism in there. Predators are going to be predators. Prey animals are going to be prey animals. They have preset reactions to danger, to other stimuli. That's just a thing. Same with humans. Humans have preset reactions. But to use that to try and explain everyone's complex moral choices and the behavior that they exhibit, there's no basis for that. Anyway. Uh-oh. We doing all right here? Hopefully we're doing all right. Okay, I'm back. Seems like we're doing okay. Where was I? Okay, so to continue on with the whole Frieren thing. To say that only right-wingers were the ones saying that the demons were a racial allegory ignores a decade plus of discourse around this subject. Like I said, for a long time, people had been changing, or have been taking issues with certain portrayals, like the bugs in the very poorly adapted movie of Starship Trooper, or orcs in D&D, or Tolkien. People complained about their portrayal because they specifically started to refer to them, or they would, insinuate at the very least that it was an allegory for some sort of minority group. And it's bad to have an entire race of, bad guys, apparently, because of, again, the whole biological determinism thing. What it ignores is the fact that, one, this is fiction, so we can't actually have that. And nobody ever complains about it when it's the goblins in Goblin Slayer. You never see anyone complaining about how all the grapey little green shits are very poorly represented. Gee, I wonder why. Too, I do need to look up like the actual essays and stuff on the orcs are black people thing, because that was a thing 2016, 2017, when the whole Trump era started to kick off. That was a thing that went around. Was a lot of discourse about how they needed to change D&D because there were certain parts of it that were racist. And that's why that entire franchise got watered down. So that is the context to this whole thing. So, maybe, perhaps, no one ever said that the demons were a representative of some minority group. It is a Mott and Bailey tactic to ignore the build up to this point within pop culture discussions. There was also this interesting response here to what this guy said. So let's break down the progression here. The usual suspects claim Frieren is a racist dog whistle because the demons are actually allegories for minorities. Massive projection tell here, by the way. People who enjoy the show for what it is lean into it to piss off the people who believe the above. This filters the usual suspects who ruin fandoms effectively. Frieren remains really popular without the abundance of obnoxious fandom. Some still exist, but they don't all leave, unfortunately. This bothers the usual suspects because they don't have control over the narrative for once. Time to flip the script. Actually, Frieren would murder racists because they're the real demons. Still completely missed the point of the show. Goalpost continues to move in perpetuity. Don't get me wrong, those that say Frieren is about murdering demons because she loves doing it and are serious about that also completely miss the point of the show. Correct! But the end of this shit wouldn't have happened. But in the end, this shit wouldn't have happened if you nitwits actually watched the thing you claimed to love and soaked in its themes instead of projecting what you want to believe onto them. The tiresome levels continue to increase. This is well drawn, though, so that's neat. Yeah, this person's point is fairly good. I will say that there is a lot that gets missed in the Frieren discussions, and that the morality of Frieren's demons, or rather the morality of their portrayal, is completely irrelevant to the entire point of the story. Whether or not the demons should or shouldn't all be portrayed in a certain way, the story is talking about a very specific message. It has a couple of core themes, some Japanese cultural sentiments mixed in that are really the central idea of the entirety of Frieren. But it gets so bogged down in racial discussion because some people decided to start talking about how It's bad, actually, to say that an entire group of monsters, because demons are not people, they're not a race, they're monsters that look human because of convergent evolution. Is dangerous. Frieren doesn't actually say that the demons are evil. That's another big thing that people get wrong. Is the series never actually goes to say that the demons are evil, just that they're dangerous. And there is a difference. Because a wolf isn't evil. A wolf is dangerous, but it is not evil. A wolf is just doing what a wolf is going to do if it kills someone and eats them. It's not evil for doing that. A person is evil if they go and kill and eat someone, because they've done something that they do have the ability to comprehend as wrong. The wolf is doing what it does to every living thing because it needs to survive. That is its biologically programmed prerogative. In Frieren, the demons aren't evil, they're dangerous. And because of the way that they operate, they are incompatible with human beings or with other similar races like the dwarves and the elves and so on. That's the part about this that really does get missed, is that it's not necessarily that the demons are evil, and people do like to hone in on that because they are all, treated as dangerous, so therefore they must be evil. It is specifically that the demons, because of their instincts, will always be a threat to humanity. So here was an interesting point that someone made in this whole discussion about this art piece. Oops. So Frieren believes killing demons is the only way to deal with them because it has been proven time and time again that starting a dialogue with them never works to change them. We have historical documents of documented examples of racists, including KKK members, repenting from their ways. I mean, a very interesting example is you could take the not so good guy from World War II, the scientist Werner von Braun, who later in life repented of everything that he helped that regime do. He went on to very severely regret the things that he had a hand in enacting, and even becoming a Christian in the end. So, yeah, that's a thing. But again, we have people also pointed out that the artist is from Turkey, so there's that. And this is ultimately where the conversation kind of has gone with Frieren at this point. It has now become the whole thing of just, the left pretending like they weren't the ones making these arguments to begin with, or at least the people on the left who were instigating all of this, who had no solid perception of what they were talking about. We've come full circle with this whole thing, and it's very baffling to me that we're basically just rewriting history. We've gone from actually you shouldn't portray evil races because that is biological determinism. Okay, why is biological determinism bad? The answer to that question should point you to the sentiments behind each of these arguments, or behind this argument. And we've gone from that to basically Well, you were the ones who were, you know, the racists and everything. And now, mind you, some people actually legitimately did be racist over nothing. I went over, I don't remember if it was the last time I streamed this or the time before that, but basically people using Freerin as an excuse to be racist to other people. Like legitimately racist, like spam the N word in their comments because the black person decided to cosplay as Freerin. There are a minority of people out there who do that. And they have been elevated to prominence because everyone's just like, oh, well, it's ironic and it's funny to piss the other side off. So we're going to do this thing that is objectively wrong just to piss them off. Sorry? Can you run that by me again? But yes, this whole argument is, in fact, based on the idea that it is racist to portray a group or to have an evil entity species in your series, or have an entire antagonist entity be a species in your series, be it goblins, orcs, or what have you. The conversation around how different species within any universe represent other groups of people has been a thing for a long time. And to ignore that in this whole conversation is an attempt to rewrite history. I mean, there was a point at which someone tried to compare the goblins in Harry Potter to the Jews. Someone tried to make a whole point about how apparently the goblins in Harry Potter were the Jews, which kind of weird. So on, so forth. It's been an ongoing battle. But that said, we have other fish to fry. Because I've talked quite a bit about Freerin on this channel, so we're just going to move on. So, here we have an official post from Call of the Night talking about how there is an official guidebook for the TV anime. A guidebook to the Free Nights. TV anime Call of the Night Season 1, total 13 episodes. Season 2, total 12 nights. An official guidebook that lets you delve even deeper into a combined total of 25 nights has been completed. So basically, this is just, you know, extra like merch and everything for people who are interested in Call of the Night. And honestly, seems like a kind of cool thing. I'm not sure. So yeah, it is just like interviews with the cast and everything, and like a bunch of like behind the scenes stuff and bonus details and all that. So that's cool. I respect it. In other news, anyone here a fan of the Texans? So the Houston Texans decided that they were going to start posting anime memes recently. And now, from what I've heard from my friends and family who actually watch sports, they're doing pretty well this year. They have a really good defense. But it's very interesting that the two characters that they chose to use to represent themselves were Satoru Gojo and Light Yagami. If you don't know the irony of picking those two characters, I'll leave it to you. I'm just saying. They posted a meme of Light Yagami writing a bunch of other football teams in the Death Note, and then they posted this of "We alone are the honored ones." And ironically, it was the arrogance of both. It was that kind of arrogance from both of those characters that ultimately got them done in. Just saying, it's very funny to me that they picked two characters out of an entire sea of anime characters, and both of them happened to basically predict their downfall. And it will be really funny if they don't make it to the play. If they actually, it would be even funnier if they made it to the playoffs and the Super Bowl and lost. It would be really funny if they made it to the Super Bowl and lost. So here's a little bit more funny one involving apparently pipe bomb threats. So we'll start here with PETA deciding to talk shit about Uma Musume. And in response, the Uma Musume fandom decided to draw art of Gold Ship delivering pipe bombs. Oh my god, let's see what Twitter has for me today. Okay, so that's approximately 5 violations of the Uma Musume community guideline and actual grounds for a hefty lawsuit. So, if Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, were honest, your favorite horse girl doesn't get a comeback arc. One failed event, and the race is over forever, just like what happened to the real Silent Suzuka. This was a very funny situation because this is not the only time over the past 2 weeks, I should say, where PETA decided to dabble with fucking around with the Japanese. And in the other one where they started talking, shit about sushi and everything, there was a very interesting conversation where people were informing the Japanese that PETA is considered a terrorist organization over here. And I am 100% on board with that. Don't really feel the need to talk about that or that. Oh. Okay, what else do we got here? Done that. I guess we'll talk about this guy. Talk about this guy again. I am tired of the Cenk horse lovers. They make Uma into a weird fetish cult. PETA can get blanked regardless. I'm not a fan of Uma Musume myself. Like, I'm not super into that. But let us start here with this next subject. So, my least favorite anime YouTuber, light novel historian, has decided to open his mouth again, much to the chagrin of literally anyone in any fandom which he touches. Mushoku Tensei fans are never beating the allegations. Now they're just upset that Rudeus didn't get with his 2 younger sisters. So this is, honestly, this one read as a joke to me, like this post. Real fans also would say that the series didn't go far enough. Sadly, Aisha and Norn were completely skipped over by Rudeus. It was so close to being a true masterpiece. And then, of course, we have this so true. I'm mad he wasn't even interested in Norn and Aisha. So, obvious gatekeeping joke from the Mushoku Tensei community, considering I've seen this kind of commentary hundreds of times and people just joke about it. The issue I have with, the light novel historian being around here is he's one of the ones who stoked the whole issue of, the Mushoku Tensei controversies that blew up back when I was starting my channel about how terrible of a person Rudy is. Like, this is a guy who said that given a chance to shoot Griffith and Capella, he would shoot Rudeus twice. And yes, he absolutely is a clout chaser. I don't take this guy seriously because, as I said down here, I stopped taking this dude seriously when he glazed Hassan Piker during the All Artist Political Conversation. He's not a very fun person to listen to. His takes generally annoy me. So it's like, honestly, I feel like the anime community would be better off without that kind of fuckery. But that said, there is one more tragic thing to talk about here. Outside of just, the light novel tourist being a fucking grifter. And that's the tragedy of Studio Eclipse. So here's a very long post as to what has happened with the Black Swordsman. So, with extreme disappointment, we are sharing news that the Black Swordsman project has not been approved by the owners. A lot of people believe that we chose not to continue the project, but in reality, we were forced to stop publishing after the IP holders sent this warning last year. We are not allowed to post any Berserk animated content on this channel/socials and have been warned to have legal troubles if we do so. Since then, we have been trying to get permission from them to work on the official adaptation. There has been meetings throughout the year pitching the idea. Our dream was that they could give us a chance to make something in the same quality as the trailers we produced, but it seems they have chosen to go with a Japanese studio for the next adaptation. That's a huge thing right there. Is basically this random admission that there is going to be a new Berserk adaptation, or at least more Berserk content in the near future. That in and of itself is pretty fucking wild. But it's also sad to see that they got screwed out of something that was looking really cool. So we understand the decision and wish them the best. As Berserk fans, the one thing we care about is seeing the work adapted with love and care, just as we were trying to do. We are extremely thankful for all the support for all the people that started reading the manga thanks to our videos, for all the live reactions to our trailers and the encouragement we received. Our biggest dream has been to make this project happen. This essentially leaves us without any fan projects to work on for this channel. So we're taking a hiatus to decide the future of Studio Eclipse without fan animations. We really don't want to work on something again for years, only for it to be taken down once we publish. If you have any ideas on what we could do as a studio next year, we would gladly read them in the comments to help us decide. Thank you again, everyone. We don't know anything about the next adaptation. What we said about the Japanese studio is just an assumption based on what we got told. We don't know if they're currently working on an adaptation or if they have any plans for the near future. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a big thing to just sort of add in there and like make that assumption. And it is an important clarification. So I guess what little hope I got out of that post is just, gone now. But that had been something that I was very interested in when it first came to my attention. Berserk is one of my favorite manga of all time. Now, getting a good adaptation, a faithful adaptation, is something that I've always dreamed of. But the 97 version doesn't exactly do a faithful job. And the 2016 version is an abomination, the likes of which should not ever be produced. So, I guess Berserk fans were born to suffer. Rip. Okay. Since we're on the subject of suffering, how about you Crunchyroll fans? There will no longer be a free ad-supported streaming service as of the end of this year, from what I understand. Crunchyroll has officially decided to end their free version of their free tier to their subscriptions, to where you can watch anime but with ads. And I'm willing to bet that pretty soon they will be adding a tier to their service where you pay and still have ads. It was very interesting to see some of the responses to this, because this is kind of how I feel. Plot twist. Barely a month after ad supported streaming ends, Crunchyroll CEO writes a scathing article complaining about the rising surge in pirated anime. Yes, that's really the big thing that's going to happen with this is the moment you take away the free tier for Crunchyroll while also downgrading your service and doing all this terrible shit to it. And like just generally being a shitty company that I don't want to give money to if I can avoid it. You're going to see a lot of people turn over to piracy. So that's a thing. Gotta love Sony roll. But we have one more article tonight, and then we will move on to our tier list, in which we have quite a few women to put on the tier list tonight. So this article was very interesting to me because I don't know how this is going to work. So Chainsaw Man stage play reveals Reze arc adaptation in second run from July to August of 2026. The official website for Chainsaw Man, the stage play adaptation of Tatsuki Fujimoto's Chainsaw Man manga, revealed on Wednesday a second stage play adapting the manga's Reze arc titled Chainsaw Man the Stage Reze Hen, which will run in Tokyo and Kyoto from July to August next year. So they're doing a stage play for Chainsaw Man. They give a cast listing there. Is again directing and writing the script for the play. Is again in charge of music. Okay, so they kind of just talk about some of the other stuff here. So I didn't even know that Chainsaw Man had a stage play. And I am honestly confused as to how that was supposed to work. No. I want to share this. Close this. Delete group. Close that. There we go. But hey, I mean, stage plays of manga and anime are not exactly a new thing. So I shouldn't really be surprised that there is a live action stage play for Chainsaw Man. But I am nonetheless. That being said, we're on the final stage of the night tonight. I know I kind of speed ran a bunch of stuff, but work's kind of sucked lately. So that actually would be kind of lit. I'm just curious how they would do some of the effects and stuff like that. So we're on the last thing for the night, the last item, and it is time we go over the ultimate waifu tier list. So this is where we were as of last time we did this. We have done ReZero, Space Battleship Yamato, Cowboy Bebop, Konosuba. What else do we have in here? Evangelion. Do we have anything else in here? I think that's what we've got. Yamato, Cowboy Bebop, Konosuba, ReZero, Evangelion. That's 5. Okay. So tonight, we're doing Mushoku Tensei. We're adding Mushoku Tensei girls to the list. So I went through and picked out the significant ones. There are other female characters and stuff that I skipped over because I either didn't recognize them or didn't think they were important enough to add to the whole list. So let's get going. So Sylphie. S tier. Sylphie can go in S tier, okay? Suzanne. I'll put her in the bottom of B, honestly. Not bad, but not really my thing. Eris equals 1 of 1. Jeremy Turner for the $20. I appreciate it. Where's the clap? Here we go. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate it. So here's the cat girl from the Doldy of I always forget her name. Ririna, I believe. Honestly, I would put Ririna in B tier. Just personally. Not really a huge fan of her. She seems kind of like a pain in the ass. Sarah, where do we put Sarah? I'll put her right here because she's great. It's just stupid shit happens and it's not even her fault. So yeah, I can't really blame her for the stuff that goes on there. Nana Hoshi, sorry. She's not all that great. I'm not particularly interested in her. This was that random prostitute girl who had like the huge fucking tits. And I just included it in here for the. This is the chick at the brothel when Rudy first discovers that he can't get hard. This chick, I forget her name. Either way, there's the cat and the dog. And as far as this girl goes, I like her personality a little bit better. She's a little bit funnier to me. So the dog girl can go up in the A tier. Kishirisu, I'll put you in E. I'm not particularly interested in what you got going on, girl. Lilia. I'll put Lilia A tier. Dogs are better than cats, yes. Exactly. You get it. You get it. Like, girl, you cause your own problems. I don't know if you're upset about that or what. Eris's mom, Hilda. So Hilda can go in A tier because she's hot, okay? She's hot as shit. And honestly, I like if I were that man, I absolutely would have been 100% on board with that woman. Elena Lise, because Elf, S tier. Okay. Low S tier, but S tier. The horny curse is probably going to be a bit of a problem, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it. Why am I? Oh, that's the princess. I was like, okay, I'm blanking. I knew this chick. I put her in here because I knew her. I'm blanking on it. So right now, as far as everything I know about the princess, I'll put her in B tier for now. Ariel. Yeah, there we go. I was like, it's something with an A. It's something with an A. But she's all right. She seems like a good person, but not exactly my type. Okay. Eris. I feel like I'll put Eris there just because, you know, she got the kink. Okay. Anyway, Eris, I'll put an S tier because as much as she is my least favorite of the three girls, I do gotta respect a hot redhead. Okay, it's just naturally okay. So Eris can go at the bottom of the S tier for me. Zenith Greyrat. I'll put her next to the other couple of blondes here. Zenith's okay. I like her. It's just kind of a tragedy that she turned into a vegetable. Not really a fan of Ghislaine. I'm going to be entirely honest. I don't care much for Ghislaine. That's more of a Rolando thing. So he can have that one for all I care. And then Roxy can go up here. Fucking fight me. Okay. That's a pretty fucked up thing to say. So that being said, that is where I'm going to leave the waifu tier list for now. So once I get this whole thing, I don't know, maybe I should just start, like working on it every now and again. But for the time being, that's where we're going to leave it. So we're going to wind down. I will say that so far I've lived up to my sorry, hiccups. I need some water. I've lived up to my word and gotten the videos done that I said I was going to get done. Who knows about the trapped in a dating sim video, but I'm going to try and get that out by Friday. So that's what we're looking at. Saturday, I'm hoping that I can kind of when it comes to Mushoku Tensei, I have most of the series that I know of. I have watched the anime. I have read the first 2 volumes. I did it because I needed clarification on things for videos that I did on Rudius. So I actually have 5 Mushoku Tensei volumes on my shelf. The first 2 I have read. And I do plan to go through and actually, listen to the audiobooks and stuff and continue adding Mushoku Tensei to my collection. So right now I am kind of just anime only on that one. I got to get through Realist Hero before I get into Mushoku Tensei. So, all that being said, Saturday I may have to work depending on, I think, how weather is tomorrow. If there is rain in the forecast, I'm probably not going to be working. And that means I will probably have plenty of time to, make that video. And I will do the Trapped in a Dating Sim deep dive video. Otherwise, probably just expect to see maybe a delay in that production to like Saturday or something. And for anime, we'll still be doing animated at 8 o'clock on Saturday. We'll be back on the Biggles breakdown next week. Hopefully, I don't know what they talked about, but hopefully we can talk about I couldn't become a hero, so I reluctantly decided to get a job. Unfortunately, this week I had a concert the day that we were going to be streaming together, so I wasn't around. It was a good concert, though. I enjoyed it. So with all that said, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in, especially thanks to those who, sent in super chats and all that. You guys are great. Hope to see you in the next one, and I am going to peace out. So, later.
火花ちゃん。わか